I don't mean to alarm you, but Fuji's only flaw in video was Fuji auto exposure stepping, which has now vanished in their latest firmware episode. And we now have the perfect camera.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So let me start by saying, what the hell is Fuji doing? Listen to this. They come out with a firmware update a couple weeks ago that improved autofocus. Zero mention of it in the description. They're just like, some bugs were fixed. And then like autofocus dramatically improved indoors. It's like smoother, everything. Although we'll see today. We're on the kit lens, 18 to 55, 22.8. Will it follow us? The next update, this one, minor bug fixes. It's just a minor problem we did. Everybody has been complaining about this for years. Exposure stepping, like why do they do that? It's the only camera company that just flashes of your past come back into your life and it's gone, I think. For the most part. And we're in aperture priority with auto shutter and auto ISO because ND filters suck and I'm never using one again. I tell you, do not buy a cheap ND filter and think you're gonna get away with it. I bought that Gobi 128 ND. The softest thing I've ever seen. It ruined my life. I was like, how did I miss focus? It's a manual focus lens and the setting is right lined up. You can't miss it. It was so soft and ugly. What's the point of that thing? And then the exposure never gets right. You're at like 4,000 ISO in the shade, and then in the sun it can't lower enough in F-log. We're in Eterna, by the way, no F-log. Will we ever get to the point? I doubt it. I also noticed with the correct shutter speed, 240 frames per second, it was blurry, and then you can't slow it down further with the optical flow of DaVinci Resolve. It got all weird with the hand motions. That's bullshit. So Fuji, I don't understand how this wasn't front page news. We finally fixed the exposure stepping after years. We finally did it. It's just, minor bug. Check that one off the list. It's not important. Do you like it? Not gonna lie to you, I like the theme of that whole porch, that whole house. That's beautiful. The red and it's not red, it's a brown and a yellow. Fantastic. The benches, the fence, the things, they love those colors. Now don't get me wrong here, Fuji still needs a lot of work. Their autofocus, we'll see how it compares today. But I've been using a manual focus lens because you have to, especially when the sun's back behind me. What am I supposed to do, not walk to where I need to be? I have to be there. Fuji jumps to the trees more often than any camera I've ever seen. Even Panasonic sticks on me better. It's bullshit. And their IBIS, serviceable, is actually pretty decent. I was so surprised at that 7.5mm fisheye. We figured it out. It is the fisheye that protects the warpy colors. Oh God, I never in a million years would have guessed that you need a fisheye to fix the IBIS warpy corners. And credit to y'all. Some of y'all got that in the corners. They're like, oh, it's the fisheye. It makes sense because it's curved and then it's not as distorted. It's the rectilinear lenses that are gonna warp. No, like you understood it, not me. I never would have guessed that. So that's actually a fantastic little vlogging lens. 7.5, that's a 12mm with the digital stab. It was stable. Just a couple rocky moments, but you're gonna get that. That's life. How's this one doing? Dual stab, no digital. I find the digital crop on this, it's a bit much with this lens. 18mm, you kidding me? Their digital stab is on. I do notice it's much smoother. It works, but it's a bit tight. I don't mind it on the 12mm. Oh, Fuji, you have a lot to learn. But this is part of the joy of being a Fuji user. You know they're gonna come out with those Kaizen firmware updates. I don't even know what Kaizen stands for. I imagine it's just like a massive word in Japanese, like the best Kaizen. It's probably nothing. It's like the name of the company or something that does the firmware updates. It's probably that. On the other hand, whenever you buy a Fuji camera, you're a beta tester. And you're just like, oh, here's all the problems with your camera that wasn't ready. Can you fix them now? So you're welcome. I'm making a fool of myself for 2 months. It's a bunch of bullshit, Fuji. How's the autofocus performing today? I had to give back that 18mm Tony 2. That hurts. That was a good lens. I could have bought it, but I was like, am I even staying in? I'm debating sending it back for the A7S III. That's a tempting one. That hurts. That hurts, I tell you. But there's something about it. Is it performing so far today? We're on locked on +4, slow -1. And I'm in a Turna to give it that extra chance. Dynamic range 200. Let's switch to F-Log and see if it screws up. So now we're in F-Log, and it should technically autofocus worse because there's not as much contrast, even though they're using phase detection. There's contrast points in there, and they use them. Way too many of them. How are we doing on it? Oh, the glorious clouds. We're somewhat decently exposed for once. Hey! People always beep at me. I have no idea what this video is supposed to be about, but we're just testing the new firmware. Somebody also said, boost mode ruins video. How? In what planet would it? So let's turn it off then. They say autofocus and stabilization is better. I believe your lie is not. Okay, now we're in normal mode. No boost. And I'm not talking about the image stabilized boost. It's just boost mode. I don't even know what it does. Is it working better somehow? Autofocus better. Stabilization better? We're still in digital. I'm just a man. We doing it? Has it lost me once since switching to boost mode? What's over there? Oh, look at... Swear to God. Fuji tricks me. It plays tricks on me. Whenever I look off, it'll switch and then it look back and it's like, oh, no, I was focused on you. Oh, you're a bag of tricks, Fuji. Shade. Take that, Fuji Boost. Take it. What do you do in this situation? You lost the box. You definitely lost it. We're in the darkest tunnels. How come the box isn't on me anymore? Am I in focus anyway? There it is. I feel like we went out 15 times in that whole segment. Oh, it's a bunch of bullshit. How's the stabilization? Worse? I just turned digital stab off. So no boost and the worst stabilization possible, but it's the best because no boost should be better. I wouldn't want to boost the performance of your camera. Although I will say, I'm not a fan. It's like a CPU, you overclock it. I've never overclocked. That's danger talk. You don't overclock. Just the name alone. I overclock, it's too much. You went over. Don't do it. So I've never done it. I never will. How we doing on it? Is it the most stable Panasonic? Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. All right, boost is back on. Digital stay back on. So Fuji, you have a couple more things to work on. The stickiness of your autofocus. Like that eye is bouncing. It lags a lot on the screen, whereas Canon and Sony like stick to you. So you got to work on that. Your performance speed boost. Here's an autofocus test for you. There's a line of people. Looks like 100 feet long. Will it keep on me? Or will it latch on to each individual person? Oh my God. Who will it pick? Who will it pick? You better be staying on me the whole time. You stay. Don't choose the mask, people. They know not what they do. Selling umbrellas?
That's the bus.
Thank you. I almost died. What is this line for? Has it jumped? What if I turn to look at them? Is this good content? It can't be. All right, this keeps going for a long time. We're done. The only other thing we need is the custom mode so I can switch between the studio and here so my white balance So I'm auto white balance out here, but fixed in the studio. And then like sometimes F-log out here, Eterna in the studio. You never know what I'm gonna do. Different frame rates help. It's funny, I was just about to say that Samyang lens is perfect, except whenever I see something, I can't zoom in on it. As I was about to say that, I saw a black butterfly, and I was like, so that's why I prefer this lens, but the autofocus has let me down in the past. So if it's improved, then we're good to go. Perfect camera upon us, but I doubt it. So how did it perform today? Exposure stepping fixed, autofocus fixed. I doubt it. We're done. Thanks for buying a Camera Conspiracies t-shirt. I only have 3 of them. The odds of it not being laundry day are not good. All right, subscribe for more videos.